I am Murphy Nathaniel McCoy.
I met Mr. McCoy 2 years ago when I moved in next door to him. He owned the house next door and the one across the street from that. He had a caregiver that her behavior was always a bit nefarious and everyone in the neighborhood, disapproved, but we didn't know to the extent to which she was abusing Mr. McCoy's finances. As it ends up, she cashed in his CDs, cashed in his stocks, and then she sold both of his houses and drained his bank account, leaving Mr. McCoy homeless. So it took a lot to even get the police to do anything. It was an incredible situation. She spent the money within 3 weeks, and he basically got a car out of it. So Adult Protective Services got involved, and they said, well, we don't really have the funds to place him right now. And I said, well, he can stay here, until you get things figured out. And that was 5 months ago. A guardian ad litem showed up, Emily Nelson, and she asked him a few questions, and on the paperwork that she filled out, it was for competency in the court. She asked if he needed an attorney to represent his rights, and Mr. McCoy and I both said yes. And we learned later that she didn't check that box, so he didn't have one. And then she told us when the court date was, but it was postponed, and then we were never notified when the next court date was. So Mr. McCoy didn't even get to attend his own competency hearing. And it just gets worse from there. His second guardian ad litem came along and decided that she knew what was best for him. So she took his money out of his bank, and he's no longer getting any more of his Social Security that he worked for or his pension from the cement masons. And Mr. McCoy is supposed to now be sent to live in a group home where he no longer has any say over when he gets up in the morning or when he goes to bed at night or what he's going to eat. He can't leave without permission, and he can't even spend his own money. And how do you feel about that?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm hearing it for the first time, but I feel like getting the club and start swinging. I'll tell you how I feel about it.
Yeah?
When did all this happen?
Well, it's kind of been a process. It's kind of been a process that's been happening. It didn't happen all at once. So it took a while. It took a while for us to get to this point. First, Rebecca stole your money and your houses. And so then you didn't have any assets. Well, it took the state months to even get you any Medicare so we could get you medical treatment without being charged for it. But by the time that 5 months later, this Lori Peterson, who is now your guardian ad litem, walked in, went to your bank over here at Fred Meyer's, and took all your money. And when your check comes in today, it's gone too. And she's decided that you need to go live in a place where you don't know anybody, where you never met anybody.
You said when my check comes in, it's gone. What do you mean?
She's taking it.
Who?
Your guardian ad litem.
And who is the guardian ad litem?
Lori Peterson.
Lori Peterson. Thank you for telling me.
Remember that name?
Yeah, I remember that, and I will remember it. She's taking my check?
How do you feel about that?
I feel like getting the club and putting a few notches on the head. That's how I feel. Well, how I feel about it, that's how I feel. I feel like swinging a club or something. My God, I have nothing. I have nothing. I get normal and they know nothing. I worked in my time. I worked. Paid into the Social Security. I worked in the construction business. I got a little pension. Supposed to. I'm not getting that no more.
Nope, she's taking that too.
Who did that?
Lori Peterson.
Lori Peterson. What's her address?
Well, we don't know her address, but we know her business address.
Good. Good. I'll have to speak to that young lady. You got to be kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
When did this happen? How long ago?
About 3 weeks.
Oh, not.
Remember, we went to your bank, and Michael said that the account is now, she's got control of it. And so as soon as your money comes in today, she's going to get that money and she's going to put it in another account, and you're not going to get your money. And she's going to place you in a home, and then the state is going to take your money to pay for where you live.
Well, why she has so much interest in my interest?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question, because I don't think you've had an adequate evaluation of your competency.
I don't think I even know the woman. If she's walking here now, I wouldn't know from Adams or the Ox.
Well, you've seen her 2 times. Briefly.
Where she hang her hat? Where she live at?
I don't know where she lives, but we know where she works.
Where?
She works over by the courthouse. She's the proprietor of a guardian ad litem service.
Oh, yeah, very good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember her in my prayer.
Well, I think that,
Very ideal. Taking my money and I have nothing? I get nothing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she gonna get some. I promise you that. She gonna get some. That's all I got to say about it.
Well, do you think you could live by yourself on your own with just a little bit of help? Somebody come in and do your laundry and.
I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Well, you think I'm too old or something?
Well, I don't think you're too old.
I'll outrun you right now on a 50.
I bet you could.
I'll outrun you on a 50. Oh, how about 25?
I'm thinking more like 15.
Laura Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
So she's taking over control of my existence.
You can't make any medical conditions. She revoked your driver's license. You can't get
She?
married. Mm-hmm. She went to the court and she asked that the court revoke all of
Asked the court without my presence.
Right. They didn't let you come to court the first
I
time.
haven't been there for them to ask one question about my competency. Am I blind, deaf, dumb, mute? Nothing.
Yeah.
Is that legal?
I don't think so. I think it's unconstitutional myself. I think you should have been able to be there. They made a court date. They asked you if you wanted an attorney. You said yes. They checked no anyway. And then by the time they went to court, we had a court date, and she called us and said it was postponed. And then they never told us when the next one was. So you didn't even get to participate in your competency
You're
hearing.
saying they.
The state of Washington, the government.
They.
The government.
Now, there's one name, Lori.
Well, she's part of it. She's one part of this system.
Seems like to me she's the originator of the procedure.
She certainly plays a big part in it.
She had to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nobody else come here to ask me a question or say anything or do anything. She's the one been popping in and out.
Well, she said all the stuff you have left over in your house is garbage. Everything you got left over there in your house, she said it was just garbage.
Left over? From what?
When Rebecca sold him.
Oh.
Rebecca got that power of attorney, and then she sold your property, and then took off and spent the money. Remember, you were gone for a while?
Yeah.
And remember when the police pulled up out front here? They made Rebecca leave your car, and they told you stay there?
Yeah, I remember that.
What do you remember about that?
Well, I remember it happened. And they come in, pointed to the house, said, you stay there. And here's a practical stranger, my neighbor, true enough, but practical stranger, and they tell me to stay there. I didn't know what to think. I said, well, I'll just do like they say and hope to figure it out after a while. Now, who originated that whole mess of activity?
It started when Rebecca sold your houses and you became homeless. You had no assets and you became homeless after she sold your assets. So what they call adult protective services, kind of like child protective services, but for adults, they stepped in and they started working on the case. And it's just kind of, piece by piece, it's gotten to where it is now. 5 months later,
Nobody's done nothing.
You've been staying with me for 5 months, and now what they want to do is they want to take you. They've already taken your money. They took your right to make medical decisions. They took your driver's license. They took your cash. You don't have a bank account anymore. They took all those things, and now they want to place you in a group home where you live with a bunch of other people, and you don't have nothing to say about what you eat, or go to bed at what time, or get up at what time.
When you said they, who are we talking about?
The state, the government.
No, somebody'd have to be doing it.
Well, there's people in the government, but that's what the government
Somebody here is supposed to be carrying out what the government dictates.
Well, Lori Peterson has a lot of power because they appointed her your guardian ad litem.
Lori Peterson, Lori Peterson, Lori Peterson. Mm-hmm.
Mr. McCoy, how old are you?
Well, right now, let me think. I'm past 90. Couple of years, maybe. 2 years. 92. Why? Why, yes.
Well, just you.
Do I look old and decrepit or something?
No, sir. You look young and fit.
When I walk, I'm peeping for the grave? No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
And
I take no, I'm not even, don't have a doctor. I take no medication whatsoever, none. Make a note of it. I don't take no medicine. For what? Heart? Lung? Hearing? Well, maybe a little eardrop for my hearing.
And castor oil, that cures everything, huh?
Well, that's good stuff, that castor oil. Yeah, castor oil is good. It is. It's a natural substance. Natural substance. Made from castor beans.
It's naturally foul.
Huh?
It's naturally foul tasting.
Oh no! It has its own taste.
Really? Do you like it?
What?
Have you?
I like the work that it does.
Oh.
I like the work that it does, but it is kind of hard to get down. It's a good idea, and anybody want to know, they may try this. Hold your nose when you get ready to take castor oil. Well, if it has a scent, and if a little of that scent go up your nose, well, you may lose it.
Yeah.
Mr. McCoy, let me ask you, does the government have any business messing around in your personal, financial, and life affairs?
He said, do you think that the government has any business in your business? Like taking your money and where you're going to live?
Well, now they send me a check, and then they're going to dictate what I do with it? I don't think that's fair. No, I don't. No, I don't think so.
Oh, how'd you get that Social Security money?
Huh?
How'd you get that Social Security money?
Well, I started paying into Social Security when I was in my 20s.
So that's actually your money.
Well, I would think so.
Yeah. And then the cement mason, now how'd you get that pension?
Well, rubbing concrete,
Hard work?
pouring concrete, doing construction.
Yeah.
Construction work, construction business, through the union local.
So
Operators, plasters, and cement masons local. I worked through the local.
So you worked for that money.
I worked. Yeah, I did.
How you feel about
I even worked on the railroad a few days.
Did you? I know you love the railroad.
Yeah, I worked on the railroad. Union Pacific, I think it was. Yeah. I like working on the railroad.
Mr. McCoy, would you like to send a message to Lori Peterson?
Pardon me?
Would you like to tell Lori Peterson how you feel about her taking your money?
No. I, I, you won't tell the truth, but I would like to get me a good solid hickory switch and lift her coattail and work a while. You may make a note of that.
Okay.
A hickory switch. They don't break up fast. Yeah, I'd like to get one of those. Like I said, lift her coattail and work a while. She taking my money?
Yep.
I'll have to pray for her. Laura Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll pray for her. Yeah.
That again? You
Well,
think she did that to other people?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I guess she does that quite a bit. Take people's money, doggone it. How can she do that? Is that legal?
It's lawless.
The money is designated for that individual. How's she going to take it?
It's lawless. It's lawless in America.
That's right. That's right up here in the government.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She can actually take folks' money.
Yep.
And she's over a whole lot of folks. How many thousands she get a month?
I don't know. I don't know what her caseload is.
Somebody should look into that. Is that embezzlement or something?
No, it's just legal.
Just plain theft.
Legal, yeah. Legalized theft.
So I won't get no check on.
Nope.
What's her address?
We don't have her address, hon.
I have to have the basis of living, you know, like food and clothes and air to breathe. And
Well, she's going to lump you in with a bunch of other people, and you'll have to eat what they cook. You'll have to go to bed
whoa,
when
wait
they
a minute.
tell you.
What'd you say?
They're going to put you in a home with some other people.
That's why she's taking my money, so
Yeah.
they can put me in a home.
Mm-hmm.
And she gonna still get my check?
Mhm.
What's her address?
We don't have her address, hon, but we know
I
she
just want to
works-
know her address.
Well, I don't know her address.
You gonna take my money?
She keeps that a secret, I'm sure.
Huh?
She probably don't give out her address.
Uh-huh. You ever heard of following somebody home? She better think about that a little bit. Go take somebody to life, living the substance of life? That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work.
You gonna hop
Well, I guess you just pick on certain people for that.
Well, what they do is they first get you deemed incompetent.
Oh.
They go to court. See, they didn't let you be in there to talk for yourself. They deemed you incompetent without, the judge didn't even meet you. They didn't give you an attorney. We told them that you wanted one, but they didn't give you one. And so then when they gave you the court date, they canceled that, and then they set up another one and didn't tell you about it, so we couldn't be there.
Who did that?
Well, that's the first guardian ad litem. Her name was Emily Nelson.
Court date. I remember that.
Remember that? We were supposed to go to court, but then they canceled it, and they never did tell us when they rescheduled it. So the judge didn't even get to see how competent you were or weren't. He's just taking the word of people who work for the government who wants your money.
Well, now here's what I want to know. These people that are doing these acts, do they get the money? Or part of it or something?
Yeah, they get paid for doing it.
So they get a percentage of whatever the take is.
Yep.
Make a note of that, man. Make a note of that. Yeah.
Yeah, they pay themselves out of your money.
And they raise their salary whenever they feel like it.
Probably. They consider themselves providing a service.
The post office provides a service.
Yes.
And you get a choice of whether or not you want to use the post office.
Huh?
You get a choice of whether or not you want to use the post office, right?
Well, I would think so.
But in this case, they're not giving you any choice. It's not right.
Yeah. I'll tell you what you do. You get them folks' names and make a list of them. I can pray for them.
Yeah, you're going to pray they get their due, their just reward?
Yeah, I'll pray for them. Yeah.
Is that how you do it? You pray for their just reward.
No, you look in the prayer book and you see what prayers are for what.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You consider yourself a religious man?
Hmm?
Do you consider yourself a religious man?
I do.
You're a minister, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You spend a lot of your life learning about what goes on and dealing with the different aspects of maybe the metaphysical. You're kind of like metaphysical, aren't you? You're
Yeah, I'm supposed to be still with that group. I haven't gone to a meeting lately, but I'm still considered a member of the Metaphysical Research Society.
When was the last time you went gold panning? Do you remember that?
About a month ago.
Yeah, yep, you're right. How much do you like going gold panning?
Oh, I could find. It's always interesting to shake your pan, wash it out, and see that little yellow stuff laying there.
Yeah.
I'd planned to go this week, but look like I won't. What's today?
Saturday.
Today's Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll go next week. I know a couple of good places.
How are you going to get there?
Well, I'll hitchhike.
Okay.
I gotcha. What do you mean how I'm going to get there?
Well, you don't have any money for gas, and they won't let you drive your car.
Don't have any money?
No, you don't have any money for gas. They took your money.
Who? They who?
Lori Peterson.
She took my personal money for what? What excuse did she use for that?
They say you're incompetent, and they want
That doesn't give her the right to take my money.
Well, she thinks she needs to spend it for you.
What has she spent so far?
Well, we don't know. I know she hasn't done much so far.
Well, when she spends, tell her make out a list as she spends my money. Would you get that word to her?
We can ask her for an inventory.
No,
Yeah.
I want a receipt.
A receipt? Okay.
I want a copy of the receipt.
Okay. All right. We'll do that.
But really, that's not right.
No. No, it's not.
She gonna take my money and spend it for whatever. I don't see any results of it. Is she paying rent here from me? She bought any food yet? She paid any utility? Have she paid on any? Now that's not fair. Well, how'd she get her hands on my money?
The court.
What court? I wasn't there.
That's right. They didn't let you go.
I think I shall put an editorial in the paper to that extent. Maybe it'll help somebody else.
Well, this is a good place to make an editorial because this is going to help a lot of people that are in your same position.
Lord Peterson. So she's going around taking folks' money. Interesting.
Yeah, and when you go to that home, you're not going to be able to just take off and go, panning for gold or hang out with your many friends that care about you. Everything's going to be decided for you.
Not much to think about living for, huh?
Not much. Not much.
Can't go nowhere. Just got to sit there. What home is that?
Well, I don't know. They haven't told us that.
Wait a minute. Go to a home. Why? I'm not physically disabled. I'm not mentally deficient.
Well, remember
I went to college for years.
Well, remember, they determined that you were incompetent.
Who did?
The court did. Because
Who recommended it?
Adult Protective Services.
Who?
And they did Adult Protective
And
Services.
who's the head of that?
Your caseworker was Bill Jordan.
Bill?
Jordan.
My caseworker. Who is Bill Jordan?
Bill Jordan is a man who works for Adult Protective Services.
No. I want to know what he looked like. Has he ever seen me? Have I ever seen him?
I think he's been here 3 times.
3 times?
Mm-hmm.
Were you here?
Mm-hmm.
You spoke to him?
Mm-hmm. He asked me if you could stay here. And I said, certainly.
So I can't live at my house next door. I got to stay here because he said so.
Well,
What size man is he?
Well, it's
What-
not.
What color's his hair?
I think it's white.
How tall is he?
5'11", 5'12".
About how much he weigh?
A couple hundred.
Huh?
But you can't live over there because Rebecca
I don't want to
sold-
live over there. I want to see him. I got a message for him.
Well, tell him.
This him?
No, right there.
He's in the camera.
Tell him in the camera.
No, I want to tell him face to face.
Well, that's pretty good face to face.
No, it ain't. That ain't
face.
face. Well, face to face, the club. I would tell him face to a club or shillelagh or something. That's what I'm talking about. I'm thinking shillelagh right now.
I don't even know what a shillelagh is.
Shillelagh is a Mexican word that means club.
Oh.
Weapon.
Yeah.
One that you swing, not a pop one.
Oh.
One that you swing. That's what called a shillelagh.
Well, he was trying to say he had to try to get you and Rebecca. See, because Rebecca was taking you for a ride. She was taking all your money, and you were.
He was who? Who's he?
Bill Jordan.
Hmm.
He had to get you away from Rebecca because she had you and she was taking all your money.
No, he didn't have to do any such thing.
Mm-hmm.
He could have told me what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have done it myself.
Okay. Well, that's how this all got started, is Rebecca. She sold your stocks, she sold your CDs, and she sold your houses and drained your bank account. She even drained your burial fund.
She did?
Yeah.
Where is she?
That's interesting.
She has a restraining order against her here in Spokane and one in King County. And I heard just the other day she was driving past here.
And has she been charged?
No, that's the amazing thing about it, is she's not even charged. There's all kinds of evidence in the bank accounts. I broke my ankle and she took money out of my bank account and the exact same ATMs with the exact same pattern. I mean, it's not that hard. There's plenty of witnesses, but they just don't do the work. They get a paycheck and they just say, well, the guy from I don't remember his name, but he works for the sheriff's department. You know, they're supposed to be investigating this to file charges, you know, because she's going to go out there and do this to somebody else. But she's scot-free off to do her drugs. Oh, that's another thing. Remember when she used to take you to the doctor and then she'd tell him you needed pain pills?
Hmm.
And then what'd she do when you get outside?
Well, she didn't tell me what I needed. She told me where all I was hurting. Tell the man where all I was hurting.
And what'd she do with those pills?
And when they issued the pills, she'd reached and received the pills.
Did you take any of those?
No, I didn't take any of them. I didn't need no pain pill. That was a racket. No, I wasn't needing no pain pill. I wasn't hurting nowhere.
Yeah, you don't have any pain pills now.
Well.
That's because you ain't hurting?
Well, I was none left. When you reach and get the package, you got the pills.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I got one laying around here. No, I haven't.
No.
No, I don't have a pain pill.
Mm-mm.
I don't have pains and stuff.
You have a little pain every once in a while, but you say you need to stretch or something, and then you're just fine.
No. I don't play that stress game either.
Stretch.
Stretch?
Remember when you do that? When you bend down like that and somebody push on you? And then it makes your back feel better?
That's because my lower back those joints there get kind of compact sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They bend over, you can loosen them. Yeah.
Well, what do you think? What should we do? You want to tell them something? You want to tell the government, tell Congress something? That they should let people have their money and not send people out to do these 2-minute evaluations to determine competency? Competency evaluations take a lot of time. You just don't do them in 2 minutes and take somebody's money and lock them away. It's a racket.
Yeah, you got a point there. Well, I'd like to know, can I get a permit to put a few small holes through them?
Probably not.
Get a permit for everything else. You know, somebody's still taking my money out. No wonder I didn't get no check this month.
Well, that's what we think about lawlessness in America. We need to clean it up, stop that stuff from happening. Let our senior citizens have their Social Security. They need a little help, provide a little help, but don't just take over their lives, their say.
Well, if somebody steal your money or your check or whatever, well then that's what I call taking over. You can't make your own decision. You can't pay your own bill. Kind of rough. Got to go live at somebody else's house. Isn't there a way of bringing some justice to the thieves?
That's what we're trying to do right here, right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is my friend, Murphy McCoy. We live next door to each other about 2 years now. He had a caregiver that was very manipulative. She was a drug addict. She used him to go from doctor to doctor and get medication, pain medication, which she took. She also was a crackhead. She ended up selling in 2009, according to the Guardian ad litem. She sold off his certificates of deposit, his shares in Puget Sound, and she drained his bank account. He was broke every month by about the first of the week. She got payday loans, and he never saw. In fact, one time, after she sold the houses, she actually went out and bought her dog clothes, and said she didn't have enough money to buy him any house slippers. It was just crazy, and so he had no place to go once she sold the houses, and everyone was very concerned for his health and his safety. So we were glad when, the police finally became active and brought him here so that we could look after him. We thought that, Adult Protective Services was going to do something, to help him. We thought that the system would do what was best for him. But instead they make a blanket decision. There's no reason why Murphy couldn't have meals prepared that he could microwave and feed himself. He does just fine around the house. He could have someone come in and help him with his laundry and stuff like that. He bathes, he dresses himself. He's plenty competent in a lot of areas. There's a few little issues, but there's nothing that, there's nothing that the state couldn't have someone come in from chores and take care of. He has plenty of life left in him. He has lots of things that he wants to go and do. He has lots of interests. He's an avid reader. He's a very, very intelligent, eloquent, well-spoken man. And to just shovel him off as if he was gone the last days of his life, it is going to be the last days of his life. He will go downhill. They will kill him. He needs to have his life. He needs to have some say over his own life. He's not a potato.
Physical.
The first guardian ad litem's name was Emily Nelson, and she came over, and she was very nice and seemed, very concerned about him and was very positive. And so I was really upbeat about that. And she asked, does he need an attorney? And we both said yes, someone to represent his rights in the court that was going to determine his competency. So I found out later when I got the paperwork that there was nothing checked. She's no attorney. He didn't get any attorney. Not only did he not get an attorney, they postponed the court date and then never advised us when the next date was. So then he gets the second guardian ad litem, and she doesn't even provide me with the paperwork. So I don't even know what I should be looking for, what things that he drove his car, his license was suspended. He was at Fred Meyer's, and ended up, he had a urinary tract infection, which makes, elderly people get confused. So they took him to the hospital. The hospital was supposed to call me. They never did. I called Lori Peterson, his guardian ad litem that was being paid, and she did nothing. The hospital never called me. Then I called them. They said, well, they called a taxi. They dropped him off at Fred Meyer's, and nobody knew. So I rushed over there to Fred Meyer's, and here he is, all by himself. Lori Peterson didn't do a dang thing. I did. I had to call and report him missing. She did nothing. She said, well, call me when, he gets home. He needs a real evaluation, and he needs an independent evaluation, not any of the court puppets. They have their interest at heart. He needs to have someone who has his interest at heart, because he is not totally and completely incapacitated. This man is 92 years old and has plenty of life left in him. There's a lot of places he can go. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't live to be 100. At least he keeps telling me he's going to.